By the way, I have a new intro that I'm gonna whip out on you guys, and it's gonna be epic.
Oh,
All
hit us
right.
with it.
Live reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. Hit
Zet.
us.
Hit a Zeztz!
Oh.
Hit a
No, I got it. I got it.
Please
I
keep
got
it. Keep that in.
Give
Keep,
me a-
keep
give me
that in.
another
Keep that in.
Okay,
Keep that in.
Silence.
Zeztz Tua, henching on that thing. Welcome to Untitled Toku Podcast. My name is dumbjake, and I'm joined by Reggie.
That was pretty good. Can you keep the first part in?
Yeah, I was always gonna keep the first part in, to be honest with you. I set that up. I set it up with like it's gonna do it. I'm gonna do it epic.
Oh, there you go.
You see what I did there?
Me.
You see what I did there?
That
And
was
I'm
cool.
also joined by Aiden.
Hi.
You like the intro, Aiden?
Oh
It
god.
was pretty good. It's really relevant culturally.
I want to like crawl into a ditch.
Can we become the tokusatsu version of Tua called Toku Tua?
Toku Tua! Damn it! That should have been our fucking name!
Oh please.
Damn it! Ah!
I think if we made that our name, I would have left the podcast
You left it before you even started.
before I even started.
Alright, so this is not episode 2. This is a special episode where we are going to be discussing the preview for the newest Kamen Rider season, Kamen Rider Zeztz. And the big thing about Kamen Rider Zeztz is that it is going to be broadcasted to America via YouTube, I assume, just like Ultraman is. So that is extremely exciting. There's some not exciting stuff as well to talk about.
Yeah,
But
I think let's just take it as we get to it.
yeah. I would like to talk about the positive stuff or just the non-controversy stuff first, and then we will talk about the controversy stuff because it sucks. Let's just get into it. First thoughts on the suit design alone. What do you guys think? Design alone, the vibes. Personally,
It's sleek. I like it.
It is sleek,
Very
yes.
good colors.
I have
I really
to
like
say
the colors.
I like it too.
the colors they use are, of course, like a homage to the original Kamen Rider. But man, it's a color scheme that really works.
It's also it's like more like saturated, and
Yeah.
it's like I just
Starker.
really like that. It's very stark. It's like kind of like I haven't seen it, but like the shading almost for like the chest plate is kind of
Mhm.
giving like Batman Beyond.
I mean,
Ooh.
And-
really, I'd say the color green they're using is more reminiscent of the original Ichigo suit, because the suit that's used most of the time now is a different suit. For the first like 13 episodes, he had a suit that was like much darker green in color.
Oh, okay. And then he changes to a lighter color one?
Yeah, because the way the original Kamen Rider went is you had Kamen Rider Ichigo was there for a couple episodes, then the actor got into a motorcycle accident, I believe. So then that's when they brought in Kamen Rider Nigo, number 2, and then eventually they brought back Ichigo in the new suit, which was basically like Nigo's, but with different coloured gloves and 2 stripes on the arms instead of 1.
I thought the first Kamen Rider's name was Hongo, and then the second one was Ichigo. Or am I wrong?
Oh, no. No, you're absolutely right, but they're referred to as Ichigo and Nigo, which literally just means number 1 and number 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first
Rider number's 2 real name is number 1.
so Ichigo's real name is Hongo Takeshi, so I can see where you got confused.
yeah, okay.
But-
That's interesting. I didn't know that Ichigo meant 1.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. But I mean, at least in my eyes, the darker shade of green is more an homage to the original suit, which, if you look at it, it's like quite a bit more shoddy looking.
Yeah.
Um,
What do we think about the driver or belt being across his chest as opposed
Really
to his
funny.
waist?
I still have.
It's really.
No
I think it's
idea.
hysterical. It's like different. It's like I don't know if they're because it's like giving like the side. It's like the like how it's like people are taking fanny packs, but they're like
Yeah.
running them across. It's like that is what it's referencing, but now it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm just getting it. Just gives this guy like a completely different vibe, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
combined with like the tradition,
It-
pride. We get into the teaser.
No.
It's like.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm either gonna like love this guy or like hate him. No in between.
yeah. I feel like I could get used to it, but it's just it makes him look so naked. I have to say it. That I'm so used to seeing Kamen Riders with the belt round the waist. Just having that not be there.
I think they tried to remedy that. Like they gave him the little like tribal tattoo, like red pieces near his waist.
Yeah, the stripes going down. Yeah, I mean that does help a bit. But also just having it like go across his chest with the gimmick ball in the center. It just also just makes it look like an Ultraman color timer, which is really funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say really quickly, I really dislike his shoes. I think he has the ugliest shoes on it. Like, look at his like
His shoes.
they're like knockoff Crocs.
He's
like,
got clogs on, bruh.
His clogs. I just
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's
okay,
something
yeah,
about it really bothers
okay, yeah,
me.
I do remember
giving
seeing
Sonic
them and
the
thinking
Hedgehog.
they look like they're 2 sizes too big.
You know what? I don't like Kamen Rider Vram's shoes either. Sometimes the shoes just don't hit for Kamen Riders, I've noticed. Like, Kamen Rider Vram has a similar issue where he has straight up clogs on.
Okay, but Kamen Rider Ram, he's so like nonchalant that he like he like, you know, he makes it work. He has the aura.
Like, what type of shoes could he wear that don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like any shoe a Kamen Rider wears might look out of place.
They should have given him stilettos.
Yeah, I do think maybe boots would be pretty cool for a Kamen Rider.
Yeah, I will say,
But
about the suit, the thing that probably is throwing me off most is just kind of how smooth it is. Like, you look at the helmet, and other than the antenna, there's like there's nothing on the face. Like, even with Gav, who has like
round.
Even with Gav, who has like a pretty smooth faceplate, he still has those kind of indented lines running through, and the side of the helmet has like all those circles and that on it, which gives it a bit of extra. But Zeztz just has this really simplistic mask design. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I look at it and I see motorcycle helmet.
You know what the silhouette is giving? It's giving Pepsi Man.
Yeah,
something about it being so, because like Kamen Rider Gov, he is also smooth, like you said. He has like the texture, like he has like a very interesting like shape language with like the helmets and stuff. But this guy, it is just Pepsi Man.
Yeah, because other than the sling, there's pretty much no like armor that you'd usually see.
Identifying features.
Exactly. So.
I think he looks a bit Spider-Man with his mask.
That was my first reaction.
Giant eyes. Yeah.
Like, I remember when we first saw it, like, I typed in our server chat, I said, if they just altered the colour palette slightly, this would be a great Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
Like, I can absolutely see it.
My thing with Zeztz, my one complaint is that I think he might look a bit top-heavy because of his mask and the thing on his chest. Like, there's nothing going on his legs, and his like upper body just seems more built and bulky because of all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to
what
be
about
fair,
his massive clogs?
Yeah, they do give a bit of something to the lower half. But I mean,
they don't even like do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, it is a pretty common issue though, where it's more for upgrade forms usually, but there is an issue where they love to go top heavy. You'll notice that quite a bit in a lot of different Kamen Rider shows, where they'll just upgrade the top half and the bottom half will be left like the same or just very minorly changed. I don't think it's so bad. I think the stripes running down the side and the green shins add a bit to it, but I can understand what you mean. Like, the upper thigh area is just almost like totally blank.
Yeah. But I mean,
Maybe it's
regardless,
just,
I
like-
think it looks really cool. Go
Yeah.
ahead,
Maybe
sorry.
I'm just used to the maximalism of like Kamen Rider Gov designs
Yeah.
because like those are a lot.
Mhm.
It's just like seeing something like very more like subtle about the whole thing is like making my like YouTube kids like brain go like I need more like colors and like shapes and like stimuli or something.
Yeah.
But I do think the colors are really good, and I do think like the way the black adds like this sort of pseudo like shading to a lot of the parts of the suit
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
great. I hate his shoes. I think his shoes are lame.
The
You
glowy red throughout his body in the ad is or the preview is so cool looking. I love when the red is glowing.
Yeah, so that is just basically what they did in Fies back in 2003 that came out. But he had a suit with red lines all over the body that glowed as well, and it feels very reminiscent of that. And it is
Don't
such
just
a good
type
look.
jelly bean ass shoes in the. This is a podcast. You gotta say.
Sorry. I didn't want to interrupt, but I had to say something before like I forgot that piece of information. They really look like this is the true
beans.
poppin' gummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the suit is way more simplistic than Gov or Gotchard even. It's very back to basics, which a lot of people are associating with this season being broadcast in English on YouTube, is that they're trying to appeal more to the Western audience, which I can see. I've seen some people say it's a CW DC TV show costume type of vibes or MCU type of vibes.
The Flash.
Yeah, basically saying it's like a
Oh,
costume from the
God.
Flash.
But
And I can see that comparison, but I
can
think
too. But
Yeah.
like it feels like there's a lot more thought put into it. I went over like
Yeah.
the minor parts of inspiration from Ichigo, but there's so much inspiration in the suit, from like the strap looking like the red scarf to the stripes being like Ichigo's stripes to he's got the little green pattern on the back which looks like Ichigo's little wing design on his back.
Yeah.
There's a lot about the design to appreciate, and it very much does feel like it's got that, okay, we're trying to remake a modern version of this. Hard to get the words out.
Yeah, it definitely has those vibes. But what I'm trying to say is, obviously, it's doing the homage to the original. But I think it's like, I think it makes sense to like maybe scale it back a little bit in terms of the maximalism. After 2 seasons where I feel like they were both very maximalist. I don't know what's before Gotchard.
Heat.
Aiden. Geets. Yeah, Geets is not that crazy, I don't think, compared to Gav or Gotchard. But I think it makes sense to aesthetically tone things down.
Yeah.
After something like Gav. Like, I don't know. I feel like after Gav, it would almost feel like it was trying to outdo itself. The show, I mean, because
Gov is
you know,
like Gov is like a tutti frutti flavored like vape, and then this is like a refined like tobacco cigar is what it feels like.
Yeah, give me the Kamen Rider Geek Bar, please. I'd like the the Gotchard Geek Bar, please.
Yeah.
Oh god,
if we were related
Kamen
to
Rider
food,
if it was
I
made
would-
in America.
I'd call it a mint. This is just like plain, simple, but you just put it in.
This is like a steak tartar with like
Okay,
like a.
Okay, I think we're getting too far into the food comparison.
I'm really hungry. Did I mention that?
Don't make me hungry. I'm recording this at 10:30 p.m.
You can't eat that late. It's bad for you. I would never do that personally. I would never eat after 10 p.m. Or before
I can't tell if you're
4
joking
a.m.
or if you're being for real.
I'm
Oh,
always
no,
being
okay.
for real. Okay, so
That's the kind of lifestyle you can get on the Untitled Tokusatsu podcast.
yes, we are a lifestyle podcast. To remind you, it's a Toku / lifestyle podcast.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about his bike for a second. I mean, not much to say, but his bike looks a lot like the original Kamen Rider's bike as well, to continue the homage?
Pretty
Whatever.
much.
Homage.
Yeah.
Ham and cheese.
Yeah.
It looks like a dirt bike to me, no? Or
Yeah.
is it like a
get
normal
that.
bike? Someone was like, someone in my comments was like, Kamen Rider finally has a normal bike again. And I looked at that bike and I was like, this looks like a dirt bike to me.
It looks a little bit more motorcycle-y, just
Uh-huh.
because like the longer seat, like there's more like bulk in the center, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With like dirt bikes, I feel like it's like a little bit more like a bicycle. Wow.
Yeah. It looks it's like an older type of motorcycle almost.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got like that separate splatter guard, and it looks like it has that big, like, round headlight on the front. Oh, that's where
Yeah.
it would be.
Who cares? We're gonna see it 2 episodes. It's gonna disappear into the void dimension.
Oh, probably.
A couple things about the preview itself. We see Kamen Rider Zeztz just doing a bunch of cool poses and shit. The plot involves dreams. We know this to be true, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it says wake
so-
up at the end.
It's weird. I'm not sure how exactly it's going to work, but it's dreams and spies.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
it-
that's what I don't know if the spy thing is confirmed yet, but that's the leak.
I
and
do
it's
think it
probably
is.
true.
I do think it is. I believe they released like a short article on it
Mhm.
on the official Kamen Rider website. And you know
Oh,
what?
okay,
If
cool.
I get it up quick, I will just read it out for the sake of everyone here.
Sure.
Using Google Translate, so
No full Japanese or fake fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit the perfect pronunciation.
okay. So just to read it out quickly.
I mispronounced pronunciation.
Although the full picture is still shrouded in mystery, what is clear is that Kamen Rider Zeztz is an agent that infiltrates people's dreams and carries out missions. Who is the agent who infiltrates dreams? I'm intrigued to see what the new Kamen Rider... So it's a very simple thing, but
Right,
we do have a bit of information there. So spy or secret agent maybe who infiltrates dreams.
Here's my... I saw this on Twitter. I saw someone allude to this idea on Twitter, but I think they're right, and I'm expanding it. So the preview almost feels like it's set up like an ad. Like it is an ad, obviously, but it's almost feels like it's an in-universe ad. And it ends with the words Mezzomero, which the subtitles say mean wake up. But it's the only thing it says in Japanese in the trailer.
Right.
So maybe Mezzomero is a company and Zeztz works for them, and he's an agent in that he carries out missions to destroy nightmares or something for this company's clients.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Because
That makes sense considering like it jumps between different locations like a lot.
Yeah.
and,
Ton of different locations.
and not to be the guy who just keeps constantly referencing all the series, but but there are also, I'd say, quite a few references to Fives beyond just the light up suit. Like there's also some leaks that he may be getting, that his bike may be able to transform into a robot.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
Which
I've heard
is
that rumor
also,
as well.
Which is also a thing
Awesome.
from Fives. That also happens there. So, if what you're saying about, like, Mezzomero maybe being the name of a company, that would also kind of fit into that, because Fives, all the gear was made by a company called Smart Brain, who were kind of... You could say, like, I haven't watched Fives myself yet, but they were antagonistic.
Are these
in
just like
nature.
coincidental, or would they be referencing Fives for any reason?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's not exactly
Is
an
it just
anniversary.
similar ideas?
Yeah, it's just we've seen the light up lines on the suits. Like there's a lot of design similarities. That's what I'll say.
Sure.
If the leak of the
Okay.
bike transforming into the robots, right, that's 2, and but from there it's just guesswork really right now. We do need to just wait for more information in regards to what the story's
This is
gonna
all
be.
speculative.
Take off the tinfoil hats.
No, it's on. It's glued to my hair. Actually, gonna have to cut off the hair to get it off.
If this video gets 10 likes,
God damn it! No.
I'll shave
No,
dumb Jake balls.
No, not again. We've already had to kill Jake and revive him from last goal.
No, we have not. We're at 62
Yeah, we
likes,
do.
brother.
We did it off camera.
So let's also talk about the driver for a second. We've already talked about how it's across his chest instead of around his waist, which is a new thing. Has any Kamen Rider done that before?
No, that
Or
is
it just
totally new.
okay?
I mean,
All of that's
maybe a secondary rider has, but primary riders have always had round the waist. So
That
Gotcha.
makes
in
sense.
terms of a main rider, this is totally new.
So we don't know how it works. I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get like a toy demonstration on July 11th, which is 4 days from now.
Based on
so
what we've heard
yeah.
from some sources.
Right.
I'm still subscribing to the theory that like the little gashapon ball thing, like the ring of plastic around it, it's gonna spin when you put it in.
Yeah,
That's how it works. That's
Yeah.
the 4 days later.
yeah.
We'll see if I'm right. Betting
I
$1
think
million.
I think you're absolutely right, because on the driver we also see like the little press-in trigger, and
Yes.
you've seen that, and we've seen that trigger on a ton of like rider toy releases in the past, from like the original toy releases to some of like in like the past 20 years, some of the cheaper cheaper versions of drivers which have a spinning mechanism. They'll use that hand crank trigger. So the fact that it's on there makes me think that it's absolutely going to be you press that in and the gachapon or whatever's inside it spins.
I mean, just with how the trigger's set up, I think it'd be cool if you like press it a bunch and it revs it up to make it spin. Some sort of revving toy.
Yeah, I mean, that could absolutely happen. I think you have a point there, yeah.
I was thinking, following the idea of Mesomero being a company he works for, and they're like supplying him with the stuff. Maybe the balls, like the gachapon balls, are made by like a Q-type figure to kind of correspond with the James Bond spy aspect that we haven't really seen yet.
There is also the idea of it maybe being like Pokemon, you know, it's monsters being captured. We've seen that idea a few times, so it could pop up again.
I think it'd be fun. Capturing nightmares.
Something I think is interesting, and you only really see this at like the end of the teaser, and I'm gonna have to send this message that I like wrote but didn't send so I can show this picture, so ignore what I'm gonna send first. But what I find interesting so ignore that unrelated. It's I think it's interesting that it kind of looks like especially when it's glowing like in the shot, it kind of looks like an eye, and like the thing in the center kind of looks like the pupil of like an eye. I don't know if that's like thematically relevant in any way to like what it does.
Do I also have to say again, it's a homage to Ichigo's fan? I do see what you mean.
Like shaped like it, right?
Yeah. Like if you ever see a driver which is like oval shaped with the circle in the red circle in the center, that's. I think the I know it was like Geats, right? It's like the cameras are also like in that one shot are reference to his driver. But I just think like the yellow, I don't know, it's giving like Evil Eye vibes, like, you know, like Monster Eye with the red. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Or maybe it's like, you know, you close your eyes to dream.
Yeah.
I sort of a reference to that.
I wonder if we're going to potentially get another sentient driver. Because that is something which has happened in the past. I'm trying to remember.
The driver being sentient, not the gachapon?
Yeah. Because we have had that with Kamen Rider Drive, where the driver itself was sentient. So I wonder, it would be pretty cool if we get another sentient driver. Because if that is meant to look like an eye, it would be like a great way to, you know, give it a bit of character.
Also could be because he's like a spy. You associate spying with the eyes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I do. I don't know. I think like many of the Kamen Rider shows, there's multiple levels to the stuff you like, the way they design things.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
always some of the most fun part.
There's so much that can just be speculated on in terms of design.
Speaking of speculation, I think we should talk about the crappy stuff about this announcement.
Oh,
that
we
kind
have
of
to address the elephant in the
ruined
room.
it. Yes, the AI elephant in the room.
Oh
It's
boy.
ugly as fuck.
The AI elephant with its 5 legs.
I wrote some stuff down just to... Let me just read my notes here and then we can discuss further.
Right.
So there's AI allegations. It looks like AI was used for several of the background shots, most noticeably in the skyscraper scene where he's like sitting on the side of a skyscraper, which would usually be cool as fuck. It's ruined by that ugly ass AI looking shit in the background. It looks a lot like AI. You know, I guess you can't say 100% for sure, but it looks so much like AI, it'd be surprising if it wasn't. The show has to do with dreams, so they could be like warped by AI. Like, I think Aiden, you said this, like maybe they took a background and they ran it through a filter or something.
Yeah,
and
that's
made it to make it
wishful
more
thinking.
dreamlike. Yeah, I do feel like it's a bit wishful thinking,
Yeah.
but just laying out all the potential theories, because you know, if it's not AI, that's I do think it's
Sorry to whoever
Yeah.
like 3D model painted that or whatever. Our bad.
I do think it's weird if it's AI because just a month or two ago, a designer on Gojuger, was fired because
quite a senior designer, I'll say. They've been involved
Yeah.
since the late 90s at least.
Right. This designer was fired from the Super Sentai show because in that show the villain is an AI program. He used AI to get inspiration for the monsters he was designing. Is essentially what I've heard as the story.
Yeah.
And so AI wasn't used like quite literally to make the costumes design-wise, but he used AI as inspiration. And he admitted that pretty openly, and then they fired him because they didn't like that. Is the story anyway.
Yeah.
So, Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, owned by the same people, doesn't really make sense to me why Super Sentai would fire someone for using AI and then they would turn around and use AI for a preview for a new show. Some people I've seen are theorizing they're just using it for the preview, but that doesn't make sense to me either. They're basically saying that the preview might have been done by some other people, but it's not a toy commercial. I feel like production would be heavily involved for the first preview of the new show coming out. Like the people involved with the show, it doesn't make any sense to me that they would pass it to some sort of B team or something like that might use AI. My main thing is that I do think it's AI. I think it's 100% AI. I really wish, hopeful thinking, that it is like some sort of distorted background with a program or something because they wanted a dreamlike look, but I think it's AI. So I'm going to open it up to you guys. Yeah.
I will say, like, I think you were right about it being pretty obvious in the skyscraper shot, but I do think with like the temple, like traditional like Japanese architectural shot in the snow, it is like a lot more obvious. And I'm trying to dissect this just for the sake of like being able to actually like look at it and not just say, oh, it's like a little off, it's AI. I'm trying to like see, like point out the things that actually make me think it's AI.
Yeah.
Now this drawing I did might look like nothing, but the yellow highlighter like indicates a lot of inconsistencies with the lighting. Like you have a primary light source that is shining in from the right angle, but like at the same time, the way it is like spread out across the shot is a little weird. And you also, to the side, you have these like rock
Mm-hmm.
like textures that are almost like clipping into the
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
of the temple, which is
Yeah.
it could be look like you know like plants with like snow on them, but it looks like the program got confused between that and like mountains with snow on them, so it's just this really weird texture.
Yeah.
You also have like the light source coming through in like the little like shaded stairs that have like the like shade blocker over the
Mhm.
top, and like there's a lot of weird textural like inconsistency that you wouldn't get if you were like modeling or sculpting or painting this out, because it's supposed to be like a straight line. It wouldn't be like that messed up. So, and it's like there's probably more you could like dissect with that, but it's just like from the way I am looking at this as someone who does like illustration, it does seem like AI, just because when AI makes a drawing, it is like it's not thinking logically. It's not
Yeah.
thinking, oh, okay, the light source is here, so all the shadows in the shot have to follow this rule. And it's just like putting things wherever to look cool or nice.
Uh-huh.
And then that's why it looks weird. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just an additional point, like one of the things which is kind of really obvious to a lot of the time is that AI is bad at straight lines. So you look at the roof and it's trying its hardest to be straight, but parts of the roof are intersecting.
It looks like spaghetti.
Yeah. And you can see that in the shot after too, where it's kind of this forest scene. It's got these 2 pillars, and you can see it's like trying to draw these straight lines going down, but they keep intersecting and joining it. Yeah. It seems to me that, because what I thought, I've had a theory that it might not, that some of these shots I think could totally be AI. I do think this like forest pillory scene probably is totally AI, but some shots I'm not totally convinced of being 100%. Like I think
I think
AI,
with the mirrors, that mirror scene is real.
Yeah, like for
some
a lot
real
of these
stuff
AI shots, I think AI is absolutely involved in some way, but it's hard to tell how much. Like in that skyscraper scene, like you can look at the buildings in the background and you can see like some of them aren't even straight, the billboards on them. But then you look at the reflection of the building he's like sitting on the side of, and you see like, oh, this is like quite a consistent reflection of the buildings. So it, like, when I see something like that, I think, okay, it feels like they've like taken a picture of like Times Square, because I look at that shot and I think, okay, this is meant to be like Times Square, New York, and they've like ran it through an AI filter to change the lighting, or I don't know, maybe like get rid of a copyright on it, but it. Yeah, I mean, but I think there's no doubt that AI's been used, and it's just so disappointing.
Yeah, it took a really, really exciting announcement and kind of soured it for me. Kind of really annoyed by it. First episode of this podcast, I directly said, "Fuck AI, we hate AI," and that still holds true. This sucks. The most generous explanation, I think, is they, I'm sure there's crunch for these companies to make this stuff.
Yeah.
They threw together this preview. They didn't really have any background, so they just AI generated some shit to put behind him. Like the shot with the temple or whatever that he's in front of is so obviously green screen behind him. It doesn't even like slightly look like he's there.
Yeah.
It looks like for like the whole setting of like going into different dreams. I don't know. It just looks like they're trying to get like a wide variety of like different like cool looking locations.
Yeah, that he
if you're
probably
doing
isn't
something...
even gonna go to in the show, like just a demo reel or something.
If it's like you're making an entire asset that isn't gonna be like reused, because it's like, maybe the whole thing, it's like different location each episode, or like episodes have like wildly different like set design or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like maybe they don't like see like the value in like
Right.
working really hard on one background, one location that they aren't even gonna reuse
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like repurpose in any way. So they're just like, whatever, put it in Mid-Journey, call it a day.
Yeah. And this shit is annoying because you could easily say that, the higher ups in the company just decided we're going to use AI for this preview so we don't have to spend money on it.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I-
exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's like not even the artist or the designer or anyone doing creative's fault, more than likely. So here's what I say: if you're not happy about this, send a tweet at Kamen Rider _en, which is the English Kamen Rider account, and say, "Hey, I don't like the use of AI in the new Kamen Rider Zeztz preview. If it uses it in the show, I will probably not watch it," or something like that.
We're saying though,
I know.
be constructive about it. Don't be like.
I
a lot of
recommend
people
being constructive. You do whatever you
shouting.
want. You're a human, but
Yeah.
I think being like really voracious and rude in a tweet is not going to help anyone's case.
Exactly.
That I do think there's definitely a place for anger, but I don't think passion translates through tweets in the way you think it does when you tweet it sometimes. And I just recommend being at least polite about it, because the guy who runs the Twitter account also didn't do that. So don't be mean to the guy on the Twitter account or whoever runs the Twitter account.
Yeah.
For every shot that is AI generated, there is always going to be an artist out there who would have happily taken the job, probably for lower pay than they should.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole thing, the whole reason, lower pay than they should. So it's like, well, most of the time this is done out of like, from like not showrunners, like more like corporate financial side,
Absolutely.
like not
The
the artistic side. So you just got to remember they're doing it because they do not want to pay artists, and artists are the whole reason shows like this exist. So if you're like, why is this so bad? This is like making a big deal out of nothing. It's basically like taking like the guy that gave you like a piece of candy and like curb stomping him.
Yeah, exactly.
And just to add to that, it's worth mentioning, Kamen Rider Super Sentai, they may like technically be categorized as low to medium budget TV shows, but the people who make these shows are Toei. They own Godzilla. They sell tens of thousands of toys a year. Like, even beyond the Tokusatsu, worldwide, they'll sell lots of rights to stuff. They are overflowing in money. There is no reason that they wouldn't have been able to afford getting some 3D artists in to construct some backgrounds. There's absolutely no reason for it. And I'm just praying that this is another Gojuja situation of some employee who's used AI and the upper staff either hasn't cared or hasn't been made aware of it, and now that it's been shown publicly that it's clearly AI, the backlash is going to make them rethink, and hopefully it's a case of they saw this and thought, okay, it's too late to change it now, for the show we're going to improve it. But it's really hard to say. Like, that is, I think, the best case scenario.
That's the biggest issue. No one knows. No one knows if it's gonna be in the show or not.
We don't really have any concrete like proof or like knowledge on anything.
Yeah.
This is all we have.
Yeah, it's about to be the worst surprise box ever of a first episode.
I have more speculation, but purely because we don't know that much yet, I'm not going to drop it.
Yeah, there's no point in speculating, to be honest. It happened. Let Kamen Rider at Kamen Rider _English _en. No, you don't like it.
In a nice way.
In a nice, not constructive way. Yeah, actually,
Don't tell them if you're gonna be mean. Don't tell them we sent you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't be mean, man.
Yeah.
Don't be mean to the Kamen Rider English person. They didn't do anything.
But
I know the Kamen Rider English Twitter manager is not getting paid enough.
honestly,
It was a
Absolutely
job you
not.
do
honestly,
out of passion.
until this announcement, they were being clowned on so much for just only announcing events happening in like Southeast Asia. But,
It's funny. I was thinking about it. I didn't see anyone predict that Zeztz was going to get an English release at all.
honestly,
But
it's
even though they
stunning.
made an English Twitter, nobody thought that they were gonna do
it's
that.
because so many times in the past they've said, "Oh yeah, we're thinking about expanding globally." They'll make a worldwide channel and upload one episode of a show with subtitles, and then they'll never do anything else. So it's we've seen that said a few times before, but it's never happened. So to see it actually happen is stunning. And to move on to a slightly happier subject than all this AI talk, how do we feel about, it finally getting English, official from Toei, not having to be licensed out by a company, official English translations? How do we feel about that? Because I'm blown away. I'm so happy.
The thing is, I mean, I just got into it earlier this year, so I didn't have it without English that long. So I just feel pretty lucky.
Yeah.
It's like they knew I was a fan.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, dumb Jake sound
Just for you.
just for me."
And for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's been a slow, I don't know, from new, someone who hasn't known anything about this, with Ultraman Rising being much more released to a Western audience, and now this, I feel it's just making the genre a lot more accessible.
Yeah,
and I think that's good. I think accessibility is a good thing.
Absolutely.
I think some people are doom posting a little bit, like Toei's trying to appeal to the Western audience now. That's the other part of the CW costume allegations. Is that
if they're posting about that in English, it's brother, that's you. You are the Western audience. if this is a tweet from people in Japan that I can't.
No,
say
it's a
anything
Western.
about.
It's a Westerner saying this.
That's you, brother.
Yeah, I guess there's just a speculative fear that Kamen Rider is going to become westernized and less silly and fun because Zeztz is so serious. And it's the first English thing, but I doubt it, man.
Yeah.
I don't
Dude, we
think
just
they're
got Ultraman Omega. I'm okay.
Yeah. Ultraman doesn't seem to have changed much to appease Western audiences. They're making it available to people who want it, man.
Yeah.
They know there's a Western audience here.
And let's be honest, the people are saying they're MCU-ifying the suit for a Western audience. The MCU is popular in Japan too. They could be MCU-ifying it for Japanese audiences.
No, Aiden, only America exists.
Don't I know that?
Wait, are you getting the show? Because they didn't say UK.
No,
They just said USA.
If we are going according to the tweet, which is the only source we have right now, no UK or Europe. So I'm still
crazy.
So yeah, I'm saying you think it'd be easy considering we speak the same language, but apparently not. So unfortunately, I'm still going to be I'm still going to be Gorkaidering it and sailing the seven seas. It's a bit rough, but I mean, hopefully it should be a bit easier for me to watch it. If as long as they release the English subtitles in time with when the show comes out in Japan, I don't see too much of an issue.
Yeah, I guess people could just screen record it in America and upload it to.
I mean, not to put a sour note on this obviously good news. Let's just hope it's not machine translated subtitles.
Yeah, that's another thing people are scared of is AI translation.
I mean, if they're doing this to kind of compete with Ultraman, though, which I think is a very big part of it, they have to live up to what the
Ultraman's subtitles are so good.
Yeah, I mean, we will talk about that more in episode 2, I think, of the podcast. But yeah, there's a lot to like about how Ultraman is handling things when it comes to international distribution, and I hope that Toei and Kamen Rider can follow that and not just try to kind of, be like, hey, look, we're doing it too, and only put in half the effort.
You're right, yeah. Okay, I think we need to wrap up the special episode. Obviously,
oh my god, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
We got a whole other episode to record.
There is a lot. There was a lot to talk about.
But Zeztz is out. I want to hear your Zeztz theories. I want to hear your Zeztz freaking thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think about all this AI stuff going on. And yeah.
Can your outro be the same as the intro? Can you just do it one more time for the road?
Okay, I need to prepare myself. I need to prepare myself to not internally cringe. Okay,
just gotta clear the throat a little bit. Zeztz Tua hinching on that thing. Bye.
Immediate cut to credits.
That didn't work. That didn't work. I'm still cringing.
That was great.